Scandalous affairs with secretaries and princesses, cousin to the 26th President of the United States, and marrying his cousin, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, is a lot more interesting than what our history lessons led us on. Many of us have had to take history class to earn our degrees in college. We learn the same thing every time. We start with the English settlers, then we learn about the major wars, and learn about all the presidents of the United States, and etc. What we don't know is all the juicy details that comes in with being a historical figure. What was really going on behind the curtain with Franklin D. Roosevelt. But while he was a man with many secrets, what he did for our country is more significant. He led our country through some of the toughest times in history, like the Great Depression and World War II. Today I'm going to detail about his personal life that we don't read in history books and his battle with polio. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, better known as FDR, was born January 30th, 1882 to the wealthy Sarah and James Delano Roosevelt in Hyde Park, New York. His education was through private tutors and elite schools like Groton and Harvard. At a young age, he started to admire his cousin Theodore Roosevelt when he was elected president. While he was at Harvard, he fell in love with his distant cousin Eleanor Roosevelt, and they were married in 1905. Together they had one girl and 5 boys. Their names were Anna, James, Franklin, who died at 9 months, Elliot, a second Franklin, and John. His first noted affair was with Eleanor Roosevelt's social secretary, Lucy Mercer Rutherford. She found love notes from Lucy while she was unpacking Franklin's suitcase. Eleanor asked for a divorce for FDR, but FDR's mother, Sarah, would have no such thing. Another close friendship was with his distant cousin, Margaret Suckley. They made plans for a cottage together in Dutchess County, and it was called R. Hill. Missy Lehan was FDR's secretary for 20 years. She was the unofficial wife of the FDR. She lived in the White House and also had an adjoining room to FDR's mansion in Albany. It is also rumored that FDR blackmailed the Princess of Norway to sleep with him during World War II so he would send war aid to her husband, the Prince of Norway. With all this being said, it is quite clear that he had a strong wife and a circle of female friends and lovers throughout his life. Poliomyelitis was widespread in the summer of 1921. FDR and his family went vacationing in Campobello. While they were vacationing, forest fires were raging nearby. Him and 2 of his sons went to help contain the fires. After a long day, FDR went for a swim in the cold bay nearby. Going to bed, he thought he just had a bad cold, and later on he found out that it wasn't just a simple cold but polio. He went through days of pain and fever. He was left paralyzed from his waist down. Polio did not stop him from what he wanted to accomplish. He said this: "Once I spent 2 years in bed trying to move my big toe. After that job, anything is possible." FDR was a strong man and was not going to let his disease get in the way of the things that he wanted to accomplish in life. He had goals that he still needed to accomplish. To get his strength back, he went through several years of treatments in Warm Springs, Georgia. In 1924, he finally came back into politics and nominated Alfred Smith for the president of the Democratic Party. Millions of Americans didn't even know that FDR was paralyzed, but he did try to make it a national cause and help other polio patients. In conclusion, FDR can be summed up as a great leader, a fighter, and a ladies' man. He was the only president that was elected 4 times in office. Even though he had his flaws, I really believe that what he did for our country is more significant. I'll leave you with my favorite quote from FDR. "It's common sense to take a method and try it. If it fails, admit it frankly and try again. But above all, try something."